The dying light. The twin suns of Veridia cast their dying light through the crystal spires of New Thessia, painting the magnificent city in shades of amber and gold. Ambassador Zara Veltanis pressed her slender hand against the reinforced viewing window of the Planetary Defense Center, watching another section of the outer rim collapse under relentless plasma bombardment. The graceful towers that her ancestors had grown from living crystal over millennia now crumbled like ancient bones, their harmonic resonance silenced forever. The command center buzzed with desperate activity. Technicians worked frantically at control panels while holographic displays flickered with critical warnings. The air tasted of ozone and fear, thick with the scent of overloaded equipment and exhausted bodies. Zara's people, the Veridians, were a peaceful species known throughout the galaxy for their mastery of crystal technology and their deep spiritual connection to harmonic frequencies. They had never been warriors, never sought conquest or conflict. Their greatest weapons were architectural marvels and songs that could heal broken minds across star systems. Defense Coordinator Thane Corrivel approached her station, his usually luminous skin now pale with exhaustion. Dark circles rimmed his large violet eyes, eyes that had witnessed 6 months of unrelenting siege. His voice carried the weight of a civilization's dying breath when he spoke. Shield integrity down to 8%. Ambassador, the northern crystal gardens have gone completely dark. We estimate 15 minutes before total grid failure. The words hit Zara like physical blows. Through the tactical displays, she could see the true scope of their nightmare. The Croatac Empire's war fleet hung in the void like mechanical vultures, their black ships bristling with weapons designed for one purpose: total annihilation. 300 vessels of various sizes dominated Veridia's orbital space, from sleek destroyer-class ships to massive siege dreadnoughts capable of cracking continents. Each ship bore the twisted metal sigils of the Croatac Empire, a civilization that measured success by worlds conquered and species subjugated. The largest of these vessels, the flagship Worldbreaker, was a monument to destruction. Its hull stretched for kilometers, adorned with trophies from 17 different conquered civilizations. Weapon batteries covered its surface like mechanical tumors, each one capable of reducing a city to radioactive ash. Admiral Vex Thak commanded from its bridge, a Croatac warlord whose reputation for brutality was legendary even among his savage people. Communications Officer Dana Shenri's voice cracked as she delivered her report. Ambassador, we've lost contact with the outer colonies. The research stations at Veridia's edge went silent yesterday morning. Long-range sensors show Croatac ground forces massing in Sector 7. They're preparing for the final assault. Her bioluminescent facial patterns, normally a soft blue indicating calm, now pulsed rapid red with stress and terror. Zara closed her eyes and felt the crushing weight of 3 billion lives, depending on decisions she could no longer make. The Veridians had always believed in the fundamental goodness of civilized species, in the galactic community's commitment to protecting smaller civilizations from aggression. They had built their entire society around cooperation, artistic expression, and the sharing of knowledge. Their cities were symphonies of living crystal that sang with the voices of the wind. Their libraries contained the collected wisdom of 1,000 worlds, freely shared with any species seeking knowledge. Now, as their civilization faced extinction, they had learned the bitter truth about galactic politics. Power respected only power, and mercy was a luxury that only the strong could afford. Have we received any response to our emergency broadcasts? Zara asked, though she already knew the answer would break what remained of her heart. Dana's hands trembled as she consulted her quantum communication arrays. The Confederation of Worlds has expressed their deep concern and promised to convene an emergency session next month to discuss possible humanitarian aid. The Superior Trade Collective has officially recognized Croatac territorial claims to this system in exchange for continued access to mineral rights in the Outer Rim. The Ethereal Union maintains that direct intervention would violate their principles of cosmic balance. Each response was another nail in their civilization's coffin. The Confederation, with their massive fleets and eloquent speeches about protecting smaller species, had found legal technicalities to avoid action. The Trade Collective had simply sold them out for profit margins. Even the mysterious Ethereal Union, who claimed to be guardians of galactic harmony, had chosen philosophical abstractions over preventing genocide. Thane's voice carried bitter irony when he spoke again. What about the newer species? The humans from the Sol system, Earth. A sad smile crossed Dana's features as she shook her head. Sir, their entire fleet consists of maybe 40 ships. They've been part of the galactic community for less than 50 years. What could such a young species possibly do against this? She gestured at the tactical display, showing the overwhelming counterattack armada. The human delegation had been one of the few to respond to their distress calls with anything resembling genuine concern. Ambassador Sarah Chen had personally delivered their government's promise to explore all possible options for assistance, but realism demanded acknowledgement of the facts. Humanity was barely past their first contact protocols, still learning the basics of galactic politics and interstellar warfare. Their ships were untested in real combat, their crews inexperienced with the brutal realities of galactic conflict. Another section of the city's defense grid collapsed, sending shockwaves through the command center. Emergency klaxons wailed as automated systems struggled to reroute power from damaged sectors. Through the chaos, Zora could hear something that chilled her to the core. The sound of Veridian children crying in the deep shelters, their harmonic voices creating a mournful symphony that seemed to echo the dying of their world. The tactical display updated with merciless precision. Crotac troop transports were breaking away from the main fleet, their hulls glowing with the heat of atmospheric entry. Each transport carried enough soldiers to occupy an entire continent, equipped with weapons designed to break both bodies and spirits. The Crotac didn't simply conquer civilizations, they consumed them, adding their cultural artifacts to their war museums and their survivors to their slave labor forces. Sir, Thane said softly, his voice barely audible above the emergency alarms, the final shield generator is showing critical overload warnings. We have perhaps 20 minutes before complete failure. After that, he didn't need to finish. They all knew what came next. The Crotac would descend like locusts, stripping their world of everything valuable before moving on to their next target. Veridian crystal technology would be reverse engineered for military applications. Their harmonic libraries would be silent forever. Their children would grow up as slaves, if they were allowed to grow up at all. Zara straightened her shoulders and walked to the central command podium. Her people deserved better than cowering in the darkness during their final moments. If these were to be their last words to the galaxy, they would be spoken with dignity intact and purpose clear. Open all channels, she commanded, her voice carrying across the command center with newfound strength. All frequencies, maximum broadcast power, emergency priority. The communications array hummed to life, sending her words racing across space through quantum relay networks. In the depths of the void, automated listening posts would catch her message and broadcast it to every world that still had ears to hear. Every species that had chosen silence would be forced to listen to the consequences of their inaction. This is Ambassador Zara Veltanis of the Veridian Republic, speaking from our homeworld of Veridia. For 6 months, we have endured siege by the Crotac Empire. We have asked for help. We have begged for intervention. We have offered everything we possess in exchange for protection. Her voice grew stronger with each word, carrying across space like a final prayer. The galaxy has chosen silence. Very well. We die with our dignity intact and our values uncompromised. She paused, looking around at her people who had gathered to hear their civilization's final testament. Remember us not as victims, but as people who believed in something greater than ourselves. Remember the songs of Veridia, the harmony of crystal and light, the dream of a galaxy where knowledge was shared freely and art brought species together in understanding. Remember that we chose hope over fear, even when the darkness came for us. The message pulsed outward through space, carrying with it the last testament of a dying world. In a few minutes, the shields would fail completely. The counterattack would descend, and the galaxy would have one less voice singing in the cosmic chorus. But in the vast darkness between stars, something stirred. Ships that had been running silent began to accelerate. Crews that had been waiting for orders received their final commands. And in the depths of space, humanity prepared to announce their arrival to the galaxy in the only language that conquerors truly understood. The cavalry was coming, and they brought thunder. Thunder from the void. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her fingers drumming against the command chair's armrest as she watched the encrypted data streams from Earth Command flow across her displays. The ship's stealth systems hummed quietly around them, bending light and electromagnetic radiation to make their entire fleet invisible to enemy sensors. 35 human warships drifted through the cosmic void like phantoms, their crews at battle stations, and their weapons charged for the fight of their lives. "Captain, we're holding position exactly 2 light hours from Veridia," reported Navigator Lieutenant Jamie Park, her voice carrying the controlled tension of someone who had been watching a massacre unfold in real time. Long-range sensors confirm the counterattack fleet is maintaining siege formation. They're beginning their final assault. The bridge's main tactical display showed the situation in stark, merciless detail. Red dots indicated counterattack vessels arranged in a perfect predator's formation around the dying blue glow of Veridian defenses. Elena had watched this same pattern play out across 17 different star systems over the past decade. Each time, the galaxy's major powers had found reasons to look the other way while civilizations burned. "Incoming priority transmission from Admiral John," announced communications specialist Technical Sergeant Maria Santos. "Ultra-black encryption, eyes-only protocol." Elena activated her personal console, allowing biometric scanners to confirm her identity before the message unlocked. Admiral Zhang's weathered face appeared on the screen, his expression carrying the weight of humanity's most crucial decision since first contact with alien civilizations 50 years ago. "Captain Rodriguez," he began without preamble, "you are hereby authorized to execute Operation Thunderstrike. The counterattack Empire's expansion toward human space ends here and now. You have full tactical discretion, but remember what we're really fighting for. We're not just defending one world. We're fighting for every species the galaxy has written off as expendable." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in heavy silence. Elena looked around at her crew, seeing her own thoughts reflected in their faces. 35 human ships against a fleet of 300. By any conventional calculation, it should have been suicide. But humanity had never been particularly concerned with conventional calculations. "Weapons Officer Chen, status report," Elena called out. Commander Marcus Chen turned from his tactical station, his cybernetic implants glowing softly as they interfaced with the ship's combat systems. "All weapons systems green, Captain. Our phase shift torpedoes are loaded and our kinetic cannons are charged. The new plasma lance arrays are showing optimal performance parameters." Chief Engineer Sofia Kowalski pulled up a holographic display of their fleet composition. "Captain, our ships might be outnumbered, but they represent 30 years of continuous research and development. Every system has been designed around lessons learned from studying galactic conflicts. While other species build bigger and more powerful vessels, we focused on speed, stealth, and precision. The human fleet was indeed a marvel of engineering innovation. Each ship incorporated technology that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Their hulls were constructed from metamaterials that could absorb and redistribute energy impacts. Their engines used principles of space-time manipulation that allowed unprecedented maneuverability. Most importantly, their crews trained constantly in virtual combat simulations that replicated every possible battlefield scenario. "What's our intelligence on counterattack fleet composition?" Elena asked. Santos pulled up detailed sensor scans. "Mostly older designs, Captain. They favor overwhelming firepower over tactical flexibility. Heavy armor, but slow maneuvering capabilities. Their command structure is rigidly hierarchical, with all tactical decisions flowing through Admiral Vexthak's flagship. That's their weakness, Alina realized immediately. They're not used to fighting opponents who can think faster than their chain of command allows. Lieutenant Park highlighted several points on the tactical display. I've been analyzing their patrol patterns, Captain. They run identical routes with precise timing intervals. It's like they're following a military textbook written 50 years ago. The bridge doors slid open as Major Sarah Kim arrived from the Marine deck. Her powered armor bore the scars of numerous covert operations, and her augmented reflexes had been honed through years of Special Forces training. Captain, my boarding teams are ready for close-quarters action. We've spent months studying Crotac ship layouts and identified critical vulnerabilities in their command vessels. Elena nodded as a comprehensive battle plan began forming in her mind. Humanity might be outnumbered, but they possessed advantages the enemy couldn't comprehend. Human ships were equipped with quantum AI systems that could process battlefield data and adapt tactics in real time. Their crews had trained in simulation pods that replicated combat scenarios with perfect accuracy. Most importantly, they fought with the desperate innovation that came from being Earth's children, alone in a hostile galaxy that had proven it cared nothing for justice or mercy. Engineering, what's the status of our phase shift drives? Elena asked. Kowalski grinned, the expression transforming her usually serious face. All systems optimal, Captain. We can ghost through their sensor networks and hit them from angles they'll never expect. The phase shift technology was humanity's greatest secret, a revolutionary propulsion system reverse-engineered from ancient artifacts discovered in Earth's outer solar system. It allowed ships to briefly shift partially out of normal spacetime, becoming effectively untouchable while repositioning for attack. No other species in the galaxy possessed anything comparable. Here's what we're going to do, Elena announced, her voice carrying the confidence that had made her one of Earth's youngest fleet commanders. We're not going to fight their battle. We're going to fight ours. She activated the fleet-wide communication system, her words reaching 34 other human captains scattered through the darkness. Each ship carried a crew of specialists who had volunteered for what everyone understood was likely a one-way mission. All vessels, this is Captain Rodriguez. Operation Thunderstrike is now active. Remember your training. Remember why we're here. And remember that the galaxy is watching. Today we show them what humans are really capable of when we refuse to abandon the innocent. The UES Defiant began to move, its engines producing no visible exhaust as it accelerated toward the Crotac fleet. Around them, invisible in the cosmic darkness, 34 other human warships did the same. They moved with the coordinated precision of a wolf pack, each captain knowing their role in the symphony of destruction about to unfold. On her private command channel, Elena opened a connection to her longtime friend Captain David Park of the UES Storm Rider. Ready to make some noise, David? His voice crackled back through the encrypted link, filled with grim determination. Born ready, Elena. Let's show these aliens what happens when they mess with the wrong species. The human fleet slipped through dark space like vengeful spirits, their crews at battle stations and their weapons armed. Behind them, Earth waited for news of humanity's first major engagement in galactic politics. Ahead of them, a dying world hoped for salvation from an unexpected source. The Defiant reached the edge of the Crotac formation first, its stealth systems masking its approach until the last possible second. Elena watched the tactical display as her ship slipped between two massive Crotac cruisers, positioning itself for maximum impact. All ships, commence Phase 1, she commanded. Decloak and engage. 35 human warships materialized from nothing in the heart of the Crotac fleet formation, appearing like thunderbolts from a clear sky. The enemy sensors screamed warnings, but it was already too late. The trap had been sprung, and humanity's children had come to collect a debt the galaxy owed to every species that had ever been abandoned to die alone in the darkness. The UES Defiant opened fire first, its kinetic cannons sending streams of hyper-accelerated projectiles into the hull of a Crotac destroyer. The enemy ship's armor, designed to withstand energy weapons, proved useless against solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. Metal peeled away like flower petals as the destroyer's hull buckled and split. Around them, the rest of the human fleet engaged with coordinated precision. Ships that had been designed as individual hunters now fought as a single organism, their AI systems sharing target data and coordinating fire solutions in real time. The counterattack fleet, caught completely off guard, began responding with the ponderous movements of giants awakening to find themselves surrounded by deadly hornets. Direct hit on enemy cruiser Bone Ripper, Chen reported, his voice electric with excitement. Their armor is no match for our kinetic penetrators. Elena smiled grimly as she watched enemy formations trying to adapt to threats that appeared from impossible angles. Signal our message to the Veridian Defense Center. Tell Ambassador Veltanis that help has arrived. The battle for Veridia had begun, and humanity had just announced to the galaxy that the age of abandoning the innocent to their fate was over. The thunder had come, and it carried the fury of a species that refused to let others die alone in the darkness.